Alright folks, this is an introduction to the Besides the Norm podcast, which if you don't know, we run a podcast before called the Desert Island Dicks, which is just going to be the same things as what we're going to be doing here. We want to kind of... A lot of podcasts that come out, they kind of stick to the same script, like the Joe Rogan podcast is usually... It gets in quite interesting guests a lot of the time, but it's just always done in the same setting.
Right.
But what we want to do is kind of... We'll all be doing that same kind of thing, but we're going to be doing like live music sessions. We'll be getting as much interesting guests as possible, and we'll probably be going to different venues. Like sometimes I'll be in Glasgow at some points. We'll be interviewing people in some hotel rooms and stuff. We'll probably go to people's houses.
They sort of like make up podcasts and...
Definitely, man, definitely. But I think a main feature that's going to be fucking amazing for me is the live sessions, which is just a recent addition. We'll be recording them alongside Sean Evans from Blue Coup Records. Shout out to them at the Blue Coup Records studios in Leslie. And they're going to be good. We've already tested one out, which will be on the Desert Island Dicks podcast. You can check that out on Desert Island Dicks on iTunes. The Besides the Norm podcast is what we've decided to call this. And we basically want to do as much stuff. First off, we're just going to be sitting talking. Right now, we've got some news stories we want to talk about, just to give you a taste of what we're going to be doing, basically.
We've basically done this because we wanted it to be more serious.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of Desert Island Dicks was for it to be comedy. But then, when we started to try and get more serious with it, we thought, well, Desert Island Dicks is not going to work as a name.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get politicians and councillors and stuff on. We're like, do you want to come on a podcast? It's called Desert Island Dicks.
I think we quite obviously stole for still game.
Aye.
I don't think a lot of people got that, but Desert Island Dicks is obviously a play in the words between Desert Island Discs and the still game Desert Island Dicks, which was pretty funny on still game. It's not funny for us, so we just stole it. But if we wanted to do a serious podcast, this is how we're going to do it. So, Besides the Norm. It's going to be beautiful, man.
I think it works well.
I think it works pretty well, man. You've also got you want to plug the podcast you're going to be doing with India as well?
Oh, we're doing an air podcast called...
Which is a serious podcast, unlike the ones we're going to be doing here.
It's a more serious podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We do tend to joke on certain serious topics, but we tend to also touch on really different subjects. Like, we'll touch on abortion and stuff, and we didn't really touch on that on Besides the Norm because
we'll try and cover the bullshit for everybody. Craig is a lot smarter than me, so I simply host the program and talk to people. That's basically what I do. Craig comes up with the kind of more serious stuff. So Craig's way of saying you're stupid is I'll do another podcast which will be actual like proper stuff. Like you're wanting to speak to you're wanting to speak to biological scientists about
we're talking to a biotechnical engineer.
Mm-hmm. Right. See, that's how stupid I am. I can't figure out stuff. I'm just an idiot.
The thing is, right, when we do our podcasts, I've been in situations where people have asked serious topics, and I've been kind of rushed in trying to give a proper in-depth answer.
And
you're sitting there trying to make jokes, trying to get a laugh. And so it's very hard to make my point well if I'm sort of rushed. And whereas when me and ND talk, it's more relaxed. We can sort of put out our points. We've got as much time as we want to talk, and there's no a need to get a punchline in there.
And I'm not there.
And you're not there.
Because I'm stupid.
But we are doing some serious stuff on it.
Didn't sugarcoat it, man.
We are going to be doing some serious stuff on our podcast. We've got politicians.
This is what excited me about talking to the, what was he say, the
biotechnical engineer.
Can't even say words. You were want to talk about GMOs and stuff to get the kind of the right idea out there about GMOs.
Aye.
That's what he wants to do.
Essentially, my problem is I've never been to university, but I do a lot of online studies. I've got like online courses for MIT and Yale University and stuff like that, and I do them on times where I've got extra time to spare. So I know this stuff, but because I don't have a piece of paper with a stamp saying Yale University on it, people are like, well, your information is wrong. I can't trust your information. Or when you start speaking to conspiracy theorists, which, by the way, I used to be one, I know how the psychology works with conspiracy theories.
And then you grew up.
And then I grew up.
See, that's my comedy king.
You can't. You made me lose. They didn't want to trust anything you say. You're either not qualified to answer when they're obviously qualified to say that your answer is wrong, although they've got no qualifications either, or you're a corporate shell and you've been paid off by the Illuminati. That's the only two arguments against what you're saying.
This is the thing. Craig wants to do a more serious one, but they can actually talk about more serious topics, more in depth than what we'll probably be doing on my one.
Right.
We could probably do that same stuff, because obviously you could talk about in depth about certain things.
Right.
For instance, you didn't know a lot about hypnotism.
No.
Although
I have researched it, so I do know.
Aye. Because there's a local hypnotist that sees my area. He's just starting to do the kind of more stage hypnotism, the kind of Paul McKenna stuff, getting people to fuck chairs and stuff like that.
Right.
Just silly kind of entertainment value stuff. So I'm going to be talking to him about the kind of the intricate parts and the kind of the lead up and fucking just the kind of inside track on hypnotism, and obviously talk about the entertainment value. And any kind of wrongdoings and stuff that could happen and stuff.
Any claims that are unsubstantial.
Basically.
Like, oh, it's the subconscious mind. No, it's psychology.
That's it.
My thing is psychology. You'll notice that pretty much everything I talk about, it always comes back to psychology. How people think about stuff, how they react to things, how herd community works. Which you don't know what that is. It's like, if somebody falls in the middle of the street, people are more likely to walk past if other people walk past. That's a herd community.
Right.
To see what other people do. The sheep.
There you go.
We're all sheep. So that's my interest. I like psychology. I like how people think about things.
So on you go.
And so when people bring up things like hypnotism, I automatically think, well, that doesn't make sense. You've obviously not made somebody think that they've went up on stage with the idea already in their head that you're a hypnotist. They've already went up to the stage with the idea that you can make them do things against their will, and then they also know that there's an audience behind them. They're sort of already forced to act up a wee bit. They're forced to over exaggerate things that they feel, and then they've got a lot of suggestion.
That's why you never really get a quiet person. In a hypnotism, kind of entertainment hypnotism session, because they're too quiet and they don't want to be in that fucking kind of position. That's
why you always get volunteers.
That's why you always get volunteers, and they're usually like the loudest mouth pricks that you can ever find.
And believe hypnotism.
But we'll not get into that. That's will be covered at some point.
But that's pretty much just, I like psychology. I like how psychology works. And that's...
So we're going to be doing that. We'll be doing live sessions with different bands and stuff like that. One thing I wanted to try was getting a bunch of MCs in.
The wee cypher session.
The wee cypher session, stuff like that as well.
Good work, guy.
That's it. So like live session, kind of interviews with the music, with the bands and stuff like that. Also I've been in touch with, I don't know if this is relevant. This is probably only relevant to me, but I've been interested in like watching vlogs, people putting their life on YouTube, and I've no idea why I like it. I just enjoy it.
It's because you've got a shit life.
Yes, basically. And I'm stupid. We've already figured that out at the beginning. But I want to talk to some of these guys. There's a few guys today in Scotland. I want to try and speak to them at some point as well.
You could probably get in touch with somebody when they come here. Because if they're vlogging their daily life, you know where they're going to be.
Exactly. That's mad stalkerish though. You said yesterday you were going to be here. But we'll also be speaking to like councillors and stuff like that as well, which is pretty interesting.
We've also got a minister in our eyes. We don't know if it's going to work out. We don't know if you'll be interested in.
But I think because we are atheists, I don't know, man.
Hey, if he's got God on his side, why would he be scared of us?
Oh, exactly. But, see, that's the thing that atheists say.
Hey,
that's the thing to do. So that's the basic idea of what we want to do. And we hope you join us on the journey. That was ridiculous.
That was so rubbish.
Anyway, we've got a couple of news stories, man. You want to start off? You had a couple of things.
I've
only got one thing to talk about. Craig's got a couple of things we want to bring up.
So I asked a few people what we should talk about. This was a while ago, and I got a few topics back. Sorry about that. Aye. One of the things I was asked about was my opinion on like legal highs and like e-cigs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't know what category they would be in. The gear,
What legal
stimulants, e-cigs, stuff like that.
Stimulants, I would say.
Stimulants.
Legal highs are. That terminology is focused more towards the fucking shitty chemicals that people
See,
consume.
this is the issue, right? People think, there's two groups of people. There's the people who believe the government just wants to help everybody, and so they're like, it's a legal high, so it must be healthy.
Must be fine.
It must be fine. And then there's the other group of people that think the government hates you, so a legal high is obviously only there to harm you. And they're both wrong,
That's it.
funnily enough.
Realistically, the legal highs are mainly chemical compounds that have been created that haven't been classified yet.
It's because of the way the UK law works. They put down specific compounds, whereas somebody who's the chemist who's making these things just changes one chemical in it, and it's a different drug.
It's a different substance.
It still was dangerous. It could be more dangerous.
And they're sold as things that, like, they'll put on the back of the packaging, they'll say not for human consumption. This is how like poppers and plant food was sold, but they're named things like "will fuck your head up for weeks"
Right.
and fucking wizard sleeve. That's a what?
It's a
wizard sleeve.
Big fanny reference.
That's a big, huge fanny reference. Oh well, but they're called like things like that, which fucking I don't know. If you want to take legal highs, that's fine. You're allowed to do that, right? But watch some videos. Who's fucking? What do you remember that drug? It was a drug called Pandora's Box. There was a video like a bunch of young guys that we know take. In fact, there was only two actually. There was a bunch of guys there, but two of the guys in it, and they absolutely got mungo-fied. Absolutely fucking nuts. They were fucking screaming and frothing at the mouth and
what was it
fucking
saying? I'm
sleeping
an idiot.
in hedges. Aye, somebody says, you're an idiot, man. Fucking
Stop being an idiot.
aye, stop being an idiot. And the guy was like, I'm an idiot. I'm
For
an
ages,
idiot.
just forever.
I'm an idiot. I'm not going to keep doing it, but he honestly went on like
Literally minutes.
to the levels that Family Guy takes some jokes. Like they'll just go on forever. It was like that. It was unbelievable, man. He just went on for so long. Just
But
like,
that
"I'm an
didn't
idiot,
seem
I'm
like
an idiot."
that didn't seem like a good trip
Nah,
at
not
all.
at all. It seems fucking horrible.
It sounded horrible. It sounded like a nightmare.
And then I was like, heroin looks horrible.
Does it?
Are you seeing a nice, happy heroin addict?
I always thought there was a heroin addict there. Day that I don't know if he's still a heroin addict, but he looks like a heroin addict. He came past. He was like, "All right, chief man, it's a nice hat, man. Where'd you get it? How much did it cost you, man? You doing all right?"
I'm talking about the actual effects of heroin. When you see, like...
They just chill it. They just lie back and just go, "Oh."
Aye, but they go... like that, and they look like fucking mutants, man. They look like zombies.
That's the name of a come down, though, is it not?
But to be fair, Pandora's Box did look a lot fucking
Pandora's
worse than
box
that.
looks shit.
And
Never take Pandora's box. It looks fucking
Looks
awful.
fucked up. And the people that... there's no redeeming features to that at all.
No.
There's no redeeming features to that whatsoever. That's not even a good high.
What was
You
that
can
one
just
that's
totally
like
fuck it
an
up.
insane trip for like a minute?
Salvia.
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 What's Satvia then? Or is it
I don't know
sativa?
what sativa is. Sativa's just a strain of weed. A certain strain.
All
of
right.
weed. No strain, like a... Fuck knows. Something like that.
I got that for getting dug with high.
Getting Doug High is an amazing programme. But that's
another
sidetracking.
thing.
Aye, who did we get to? What were we talking about?
Salvia.
Aye, salvia is a smokable substance.
That went through a wee bit of a trend where it became popular. There was a lot of...
I think it did when I was at college.
This was when I played games, so this was... We're talking about 2011, 2010.
Alright, shit.
It went through a trend where there was a lot... I was speaking to a guy from Amsterdam, and a lot of folks stopped smoking weed because it wasn't as much of a trip. But salvia didn't last as long, but the trip you got for it was amazing.
I've seen a few people taking salvia. There was a guy that I used to hang about the high school in it. He fucking thought he was on the moon, which I think's dumb. And he was just kind of walking about like he was like in zero gravity, but still on the floor. He was not flying around. There was another guy, my old flatmate, we were down at the house, and fucking I was away like getting a shower or something like that at that time. Didn't